You think your family has weird traditions? Every Sunday, we eat spaghetti while wearing socks on our hands. Cute, absolutely adorable. But if you think that's strange, strap in, because royalty has been taking bizarre traditions to a level that would make your head spin. For centuries, kings, queens, and aristocrats have performed rituals that are part ceremony, part absurdity, and sometimes downright terrifying. From chasing swans down the Thames to eating jelly made from the brains of dead animals. Yes, really. These traditions weren't just for show. They were law, status symbols, and occasionally excuses for the royal family to have a laugh at everyone else's expense. Today, we're diving into 33 of the weirdest royal traditions you won't believe were real. Prepare to question humanity, history, and the very fabric of common sense. Ready? Let's go. 1. Swan upping. England, 12th century to today. Ah yes, swans. Elegant, graceful, and apparently royal property. In England, any unmarked swan swimming in open waters technically belongs to the crown. This tradition, called swan upping, started in the 12th century when swans were considered a delicacy at banquets. But how do you keep track of hundreds of squawking, flapping, angry birds? Easy. Form a royal team, arm them with nets, boats, and ceremonial uniforms, and go bird-catching down the Thames like it's a bizarre Olympic sport. Every year, officials row along the river, corral the swans, check their health, tag them, and release them. Yes, they literally spend an entire day chasing birds like a medieval version of wacky races. Royalty, of course, watches from the comfort of their gilded boats, because someone has to judge the quality of effort and bravery. And it's not just for show. Centuries ago, people were thrown in prison for poaching a swan. Imagine explaining that to your parole officer today. I didn't steal a swan. It belonged to Queen Elizabeth. Modern audiences might think this is some quirky tourist attraction, but swans are still technically the crown's property. The event draws tourists, photographers, and occasionally a very confused goose or two. It's a yearly celebration of bird ownership, loyalty, and, frankly, human obsession with ceremonial nonsense. Swans, graceful, deadly, and legally royal. 2. The royal touch for healing. England, Middle Ages to 18th century. Kings once believed they possessed magical healing powers. Not metaphorical magic, literal, laying on of hands to cure disease. Specifically, they were thought to cure scrofula or the king's evil. Crowds would line up for hours, sometimes days, hoping a royal handshake or a blessing could cure their ailment. Thousands would travel across England just to kneel before the king, who would touch their necks or arms, sometimes whispering words of encouragement or mystical chants. It was part faith, part spectacle. Sometimes it worked, sometimes not, but that didn't stop people from believing in royal healing. Imagine a king in heavy robes, gold crown slightly crooked, gently patting the heads of scrofula patients while courtiers murmur about divine favor. Modern doctors might roll their eyes, but in medieval England, a royal hand could literally mean life or death, or at least a few hours of hope before the inevitable. The tradition survived for centuries because nothing says, "Trust me, I'm divine," like curing diseases you probably couldn't even diagnose. 3. The Royal Christmas Foot Race, Scotland, 16th century. In Scotland, Christmas celebrations weren't just about feasts. They were about athletic displays of absurdity. Nobles competed in a bizarre royal foot race along cobblestone streets outside castles. Winners would be crowned with sprigs of holly and receive honor, fame, and occasionally a slice of haggis. The race wasn't exactly safe. Competitors sometimes tripped, fell into mud puddles, or collided with a horse-drawn carriage carrying the queen's servants. And the crowd? Rowdy, cheering, laughing, occasionally throwing cabbage at someone slow. This wasn't just sport. It was entertainment, politics, and a subtle way for courtiers to assert dominance without drawing swords. By the 18th century, the tradition faded, but imagine the spectacle. Noblemen in tights, embroidered cloaks, slipping and sliding across icy streets, trying to impress royalty and avoid humiliation. Sportsmanship? Maybe. Chaos? Absolutely. And that, my friends, is how Christmas in the Scottish Highlands became a mix of ritual, comedy, and mild injury. For court fools and licensed insanity, Europe, 15th to 17th century. Every royal court needed a jester, but some courts had something even stranger, licensed lunacy. Certain fools were officially allowed to speak truth under the guise of madness. Criticize the king? Check. Mock the queen? Check. Complain about taxes? Double check. These fools had full immunity, which meant they could get away with things anyone else would be beheaded for. And the jester's antics were elaborate, juggling flaming torches while delivering sharp political commentary, composing satire songs, or orchestrating impromptu pranks on visiting diplomats. In some cases, these lunatics became celebrities, pulling off stunts that would have the audience gasping, laughing, and occasionally crying. Their privilege wasn't just comedy, it was survival, art, and a bizarre testament to the value of speaking truth in a world where it could literally get you killed. 5. Coronation oaths and the royal touch. Europe, various. When kings were crowned, the ceremony involved more than gold crowns and velvet robes. They swore bizarre oaths. Some medieval monarchs pledged to protect bees, rivers, forests, or even stray cats wandering near the palace. The royal touch wasn't just for healing. It extended to promising to maintain harmony across nature and society. Imagine a king kneeling, sword in hand, promising a tax-paying peasant population that he would personally ensure the local swans remain unharmed, the fish flourish, and the bees buzz happily. The symbolic weight of this was enormous, because breaking an oath could be seen as inviting divine wrath. Courtiers and church officials would meticulously record these oaths, turning what seems like odd superstition into an extremely serious and highly ceremonial part of governance. 6. Royal feast entertainment with exotic animals, 16th to 18th century. Medieval and Renaissance banquets were meant to dazzle, not just with food, but with live entertainment, sometimes of the animal variety. Lions, elephants, and even exotic birds would be paraded into the Great Hall. At certain French royal banquets, a live bear might be fed honey near the guests, and courtiers had to pretend this was normal dining ambience. Some feasts went further. Roasted peacock presented with feathers fanned dramatically, or a fish carved and arranged to look like mythical sea creatures. Royal chefs competed for creativity, impressing the king, queen, and visiting diplomats. And if you thought your Christmas turkey display was extra, imagine juggling flaming pheasants while reciting poetry to avoid execution. These feasts weren't just meals, they were a statement. Behold, our wealth, power, and ability to domesticate chaos. 7. The Royal Maundy Money Ceremony. England, 13th century to today. Every Maundy Thursday, the British monarch has a rather peculiar tradition, giving out coins to elderly citizens. Sounds harmless, right? But these aren't just any coins. They're specially minted, tiny, ceremonial, and carry symbolic weight that dates back to the 13th century. Originally, monarchs would literally wash the feet of the poor as a sign of humility, a gesture inspired by Jesus washing his disciples' feet. Over time, washing feet gave way to handing out coins, but the ritual remained incredibly ceremonial. Recipients, usually elderly men and women, kneel as the king or queen presents them with small, silver coins in ornate leather pouches. Courtiers meticulously record each presentation. Photographers scramble for the perfect shot, and the monarch, of course, performs a flawless smile, acknowledging centuries of tradition. It's a quiet, dignified event, except for the occasional dropped coin, startled pigeon, or very confused tourist wandering into Westminster Abbey thinking it's a quirky museum display. A royal gesture of charity wrapped in centuries of pageantry, with just a hint of awkwardness. 8. Royal Christmas crackers, United Kingdom, 19th century to today. You think popping a Christmas cracker at the dinner table is just a silly modern tradition? Think again. The royal family takes these things extremely seriously. Originating in Victorian England, crackers were initially just twisted sugar sticks with small trinkets inside. But by the 19th century, they evolved into loud, ceremonial snaps filled with miniature gifts, paper crowns, and sometimes cheeky jokes. At royal Christmas dinners, these aren't casual party favors. Courtiers meticulously pull them in pairs, donning paper crowns, reading jokes aloud, and sometimes dramatically accidentally flicking bits of confetti across the queen's gown. The ritual is playful, but also a reminder of centuries of decorum, because nothing says Merry Christmas like politely laughing upon about a turkey while your bodyguards stand nearby. Royal crackers are ceremonial in miniature form. Tradition, pageantry, and a small explosion of glittery chaos, proving even trivial customs can be elevated to high art. 9. Trooping the Color, United Kingdom, 17th century to today. Trooping the Color is a full-blown parade of pomp, precision, and pageantry that officially celebrates the monarch's birthday. But it's not just soldiers marching in perfect lines. It's hundreds of horses, thousands of boots, feathers, drums, and every uniform imaginable paraded down the streets of London. The tradition began in the 17th century as a military inspection. Regiments would literally troop their flags so soldiers could identify them in battle. Today, it's as much about ceremonial splendor as practical military readiness. Royalty watches from balconies, waving at crowds, while horses prance and guards maintain perfect composure in the heat or rain. Each regiment practices for months because one wrong step could ruin centuries of tradition and potentially a primetime broadcast. It's basically the royal equivalent of a high-budget Broadway musical, except the cast wears shiny helmets and nobody gets to improvise. It's a pageant of loyalty, spectacle, and sheer human endurance. 10. The Garter Ceremony, England, 14th century to today. Ah yes, the Order of the Garter. Established in 1348 by Edward III, it's England's oldest and most prestigious chivalric order. But it has a weirdly intimate origin story. The king allegedly picked up a lady's dropped garter at a ball, turning embarrassment into honor, and the rest is history. Today, the ceremony is a lavish event at Windsor Castle, with knights donning robes, sashes, and ornate hats, all while the queen inspects each member. Members recite oaths, swear loyalty, and sometimes participate in processions that look like a mix of medieval reenactment and a cosplay convention. It's a celebration of loyalty, chivalry, and centuries-old theater, proving that sometimes a dropped garter can spark centuries of elaborate, expensive rituals. 11. The Ceremony of the Keys, Tower of London, 14th century to today. Every night, without fail, the Tower of London is locked down through the Ceremony of the Keys. Picture a 700-year-old ritual. Guards march, keys jingle, doors lock, and the yeoman warders, the beefeaters, perform this like clockwork. It isn't just for show. The ceremony ensures the tower, once a royal palace, fortress, and prison, remains secure. Historically, failure to perform it could result in disgrace, or worse. Today, tourists watch in awe as the ancient ritual unfolds, complete with formal challenges and responses. It's ceremonial, theatrical, and terrifyingly precise. Guards in scarlet uniforms, swords at the ready, chanting and marching as if the fate of the kingdom depends on every jingle of key. And in many ways, it does, symbolically at least, because tradition is a kind of power. 12. Beating the bounds. England, 7th century to 19th century. Beating the bounds sounds innocent, right? A ceremonial walk along parish boundaries? Well, imagine clergy, parishioners, and sometimes school children wielding sticks, walking miles, and occasionally bumping a kid's head against a boundary stone to help them remember the parish borders. This was medieval England's version of GPS. By physically marking the land, communities remembered where their jurisdiction ended. Royal involvement? Certain monarchs would occasionally attend or grant permission, elevating it from a rural oddity to a royal-sanctioned spectacle. It's part geography, part punishment, part bizarre bonding exercise. And yes, some children cried, some adults swore, but everyone learned the borders, which is exactly the point, albeit with an added element of medieval brutality. 13. The Royal Maundy Thursday Meal, England, medieval times to today. We've discussed Maundy coins, but there's also the meal, a ritual feast held for the poor and elderly before Easter. Originally, it was about humility, monarchs washing feet, distributing food, and dining in modest fashion alongside commoners. The dishes? Simple by royal standards, but cooked with care. Bread, ale, pies, and sometimes boiled meats. Imagine a king, adorned in ceremonial robes, trying to quietly eat his pie without dripping gravy on a visiting noble. Courtiers hover nervously, ensuring everything is proper, while poor attendees marvel at dining with royalty. It's ceremonial charity with a touch of awkwardness, demonstrating that even kings can pretend to be humble for a few hours. 14. Royal Maundy gifts of clothing. England, 13th century to today. Another extension of Maundy Thursday. Monarchs historically gave out gifts of clothing. Not just socks or scarves, but robes, tunics, and sometimes ceremonial hats. Recipients would proudly display these items, effectively becoming walking symbols of royal favor. The gifts were symbolic, showing the monarch's power, generosity, and knowledge of courtly fashion. Clergy and lay people alike received clothing, blending social hierarchy with pageantry. Imagine a village elder proudly wearing a silk tunic while the king inspects his work, nods approvingly, and quietly judges whether the embroidery meets royal standards. It's charity, ceremony, and fashion critique rolled into one medieval extravaganza. 15. The Royal Hunting Livery, Europe, 16th to 19th century. Hunting was serious business, but not just for sport. The clothing itself became ceremonial. Royal hunters wore highly elaborate livery, decorated with family crests, embroidery, and sometimes fur from previous hunts. It wasn't just vanity. The uniform indicated rank, lineage, and even political allegiance. Courtiers would spend hours polishing boots, arranging plumes, and adjusting belts before the hunt. And once in the forest, etiquette dictated everything. Who rode where, which horn to blow, and the precise protocol for presenting a caught stag to the king. Miss a step, embarrassment, and whispers in the court. Follow the rules perfectly? Eternal glory and perhaps a fancy hat. 16. The Royal Boxing Day Hunt, United Kingdom, 16th century to today. Boxing Day, most people think of leftovers and football. But for the royals, it's all about hunting. The Royal Boxing Day Hunt is no casual stroll in the park. Members of the aristocracy, in full scarlet coats, ride horses across the countryside, chasing foxes while hounds bay and courtiers cheer. The ritual dates back centuries, when hunting was both sport and political theater. Catching the fox wasn't just about the thrill. It was about displaying courage, loyalty, and a proper grasp of horsemanship. Imagine the queen waving from a hilltop, observing the chaos below. Riders tumbling, hounds scattering, and foxes probably thinking, I should have stayed home. Modern audiences may cringe at the ethics, but it's a centuries-old tradition showcasing precision, spectacle, and social hierarchy. Horses, hounds, and humans all play their part in this elaborate outdoor ballet. a literal chase that blends sport with pomp. 17. The Royal Maundy Silver Medal, England, 13th century to today. Yes, we keep circling back to Maundy Thursday because apparently royalty really loves coins. The Maundy Silver Medal is presented alongside coins during the ceremony. Engraved with symbolic motifs, it's meant to honor service, humility, and devotion. Recipients kneel as the monarch presents the coin and medal, often reading a personal inscription. There's a sense of solemnity, yet the event is also performative. Courtiers adjusting robes, photographers clicking, and everyone silently wondering if they can politely eat their minted chocolates later without offense. It's a blend of charity, pageantry, and intricate bureaucracy, demonstrating that even something as small as a coin can carry centuries of tradition. 18. Royal Ascot dress codes, England, 18th century to today. Ascot, where horse racing meets high society. It's not just about betting on a horse. It's about enforcing a centuries-old dress code that borders on the absurd. Ladies wear elaborate hats large enough to obscure your peripheral vision. Men don tailcoats, gloves, and top hats, and everyone pretends the race is secondary to the spectacle. The rules are rigid. Ladies must have a hat, gentlemen must have a tie, and anyone violating protocol risks a stern look from a gatekeeper. It's as much about social signaling as the horses. Imagine a tourist trying to sneak in casual attire, only to be politely escorted out while everyone else nods knowingly. Royal Ascot is the perfect mix of sport, fashion, hierarchy, and subtle intimidation. The horses may run the race, but the humans are competing in elegance and etiquette, one elaborate hat at a time. 19. The Lord Mayor's Show, London, 13th century to today. Every November, London hosts the Lord Mayor's Show, a tradition dating back to 1215. The newly elected Lord Mayor must travel from the Guildhall to the Royal Courts of Justice in full ceremonial pomp. Think marching bands, floats, costumes, and processions that make Mardi Gras look like a casual stroll. Royalty traditionally attends, adding layers of pageantry. Citizens line the streets, vendors sell souvenirs, and courtiers ensure every horse, drum, and flag is exactly where it should be. It's part political display, part theater, and part parade of human enthusiasm for elaborate rituals. For centuries, it's reinforced hierarchy, loyalty, and a love of spectacle. The modern version retains all the pomp with added police barriers and tourists snapping photos, proving that some traditions are simply too fabulous to let die. 20. Royal Maundy White Gloves, England, 13th century to today. White gloves, so simple yet so symbolic. During Maundy ceremonies, monarchs present white gloves to recipients as a sign of purity, respect, and decorum. Imagine elderly recipients trying to keep their hands steady while kneeling, while courtiers whisper reminders about posture, coin orientation, and ceremonial gestures. It's not just about hygiene, it's about symbolism. White gloves demonstrate that both giver and receiver honor centuries of tradition. And of course, no one dares smudge a glove, because in royal terms, a stain is basically a minor diplomatic incident. It's ceremonial theater in cotton form. 21. The Royal Garter Investiture, England, 14th century to today. We've touched on the Garter Order, but the investiture is a spectacle all its own. Knights kneel, robes cascade, sashes align, and the monarch personally places a garter on the leg of the honored member. There's a serious element. Oaths are taken, loyalty is reaffirmed, and history is invoked. But there's also pageantry, silk, velvet, hats, and feathers combined in an extravaganza that borders on surreal. It's a reminder that medieval drama didn't end with Shakespeare. It evolved into real-life ceremonies that blend loyalty, fashion, and performance art. 22. The Royal Stag Hunt, France, 16th to 18th century. The French monarchs, particularly at Versailles, loved hunting as much as their British cousins. Stag hunting was a grand affair, blending sport, pageantry, and diplomacy. Nobles rode alongside the king in perfect formation, carrying horns, hunting dogs, and sometimes entire armies of servants. Catching the stag wasn't just a matter of survival. It was an exercise in skill, teamwork, and subtle political signaling. Who stood closest to the king? Who displayed the best horsemanship? Etiquette dictated every move. Fail, and whispers followed you home. Succeed, and you earned bragging rights, and perhaps a ceremonial hat or ribbon. It was a bloodsport theater where the hunt was both literal and symbolic. The king controlled not just the forest, but the social hierarchy itself. 23. The royal court masquerades. Europe, 16th to 18th century. Royal masquerades were elaborate balls where courtiers wore masks, robes, and sometimes entire animal costumes. At first glance, it might seem like pure fun, but these events were loaded with symbolism, intrigue, and occasionally scandal. Guests had to follow elaborate protocols, masks positioned at specific angles, hand gestures indicating social rank, and dances performed in precise patterns. Monarchs used these balls to observe loyalty, influence alliances, and reward favor, all while enjoying the drama. For centuries, these masquerades blended entertainment, political theater, and mystery, proving that royalty could combine leisure with subtle displays of power. 24. Royal Eton Montem, England, 16th to 19th century. Eton College had a peculiar tradition. Every 3 years, senior boys would march to Windsor Castle, collecting salt, money, from onlookers to fund their future. This wasn't casual begging. It was a ceremonial procession involving uniforms, flags, and songs. Royalty often attended, providing a backdrop of authority and pageantry. The Montem served as a practical fundraiser, a display of school pride, and an opportunity for students to practice decorum under pressure. Imagine teenagers, hats askew, balancing tradition, finances, and nerves while trying to impress the queen. It's ceremonial education wrapped in absurd spectacle, school pride, royal observation, and centuries of tradition in a single procession. 25. Royal coronation banquets, United Kingdom, Middle Ages to today. Every coronation comes with a banquet that could feed a small army, and historically, it often did. Elaborate feasts, multiple courses, exotic spices, and intricate table service were all part of the display. But it wasn't just food. The banquet was a political theater. Seating arrangements reflected rank, toast speeches reinforced alliances, and every dish had symbolic meaning. Think roasted swan, gilded pies, and desserts shaped like crowns. Guests were expected to admire the artistry, taste delicately, and remember that overeating was uncouth. In essence, coronation banquets were edible performances, blending power, wealth, and centuries of culinary tradition. 26. Royal Maundy water blessing, England, 13th century to today. Beyond coins, clothing, and gloves, Maundy Thursday traditionally involved blessing holy water for the ceremony. Clergy and monarchs would sprinkle water on recipients' hands as a symbol of spiritual cleansing and royal favor. It's ceremonial, mystical, and subtly theatrical. Courtiers adjust robes, photographers capture the moment, and recipients try to maintain composure while simultaneously marveling at the centuries-old ritual. The water itself is symbolic. Purity, blessing, and royal attention distilled into a single drop. It's another example of how something simple, a splash of water, can carry centuries of pageantry and significance. 27. The Royal Hunt of the Quails, Italy, Renaissance to 18th century. Italian monarchs and nobles had their version of ceremonial hunting, quail hunts. These weren't casual activities. Entire estates were mobilized. Beaters, hunters, falcons, and dogs coordinated to flush out quails, while royalty observed with keen interest. Success in hunting demonstrated skill, discipline, and nobility. Failed hunts? Well, those became fodder for whispered jokes and occasional political embarrassment. It's sport, ritual, and social theater all rolled into one, showing that royal hunting traditions were about far more than catching a bird. They were about demonstrating hierarchy, skill, and decorum. 28. The Royal Bal d'Ifs, France, 17th century. The Ball of the Youths. A French court tradition where the aristocracy attended balls surrounded by elaborate yew tree decorations. The yews symbolized eternal life, and the balls were a spectacle of fashion, music, and political signaling. Guests danced in precise formations, exchanged subtle signals, and sometimes engaged in intrigue or flirtation. For centuries, these balls were as much about diplomacy as fun. Misstep, embarrassment, or worse. Success, prestige, and influence. It's the perfect example of how even a simple party could carry the weight of centuries of symbolism and hierarchy. 29. The Royal Court Etiquette Manual, Europe, 16th century onward. Royal courts often maintained strict etiquette manuals, outlining how to bow, curtsy, speak, and even sneeze in front of monarch. Violate protocol? You might be banned from court or whispered about in endless rumor. The manuals were extensive. The number of steps to approach the throne, the proper distance to kneel, hand gestures for respect. And yet, monarchs and courtiers enforced them with near-religious zeal, ensuring centuries of precise human choreography. It's a reminder that tradition isn't just ceremonial. It's a performance, a hierarchy, and sometimes a very detailed instruction manual for breathing correctly in front of royalty. 30. The Royal Coronation Sword Ceremony, United Kingdom, Middle Ages to today. During coronations, the monarch receives a sword representing power, justice, and military leadership. But it's ceremonial. The sword is presented in ornate rituals, blessed, and wielded symbolically rather than in battle. Knights and nobles kneel, the monarch swears oaths, and the sword's position in the ceremony reflects authority. Every movement, angle, and gesture is choreographed to perfection. It's a medieval drama played out in full regalia, reminding everyone that symbolism can be as powerful as actual steel. 31. The Royal Ride of the Kings, Europe, 15th to 18th century. Certain European monarchs maintained elaborate mounted parades called Ride of the Kings. Nobles rode in perfect formation, wearing elaborate costumes, masks, and sometimes crowns, symbolizing loyalty and martial prowess. The rides were both spectacle and political statement. Who rode closest to the king? Who wore the finest attire? Small mistakes could be embarrassing. The rides combined equestrian skill, fashion, ceremony, and centuries of tradition, creating a moving tapestry of power and pageantry. 32. The Royal Court Jesters, Europe, Middle Ages to 18th century. Jesters weren't just comic relief. They were a formal position at court, often granted remarkable freedoms. They could speak truth to power, mock the aristocracy, and entertain with songs, tricks, and witty banter. Royal audiences depended on their jesters for laughter, insight, and sometimes political commentary disguised as humor. Jesters were trained performers, acrobats, and actors, mastering the art of balancing humor with diplomacy. The tradition highlights the intersection of performance, privilege, and subtle influence within royal households. 33. The Royal Swan Keepers, England, 12th century to today. We started with swan upping, and it deserves a ceremonial encore. The Royal Swan Keepers are more than bird wranglers. They're custodians of history. Every year, they row along rivers, corral the swans, check for health, tag each bird, and ensure no poacher disrupts the monarchy's avian property. It's laborious, precise, and strangely majestic. Swans remain technically royal property, a living connection to centuries of tradition. This annual ritual combines law, spectacle, and ceremonial flair, proving that even chasing birds can be royal business. And there you have it, 33 royal traditions so absurd, bizarre, and hilariously unnecessary that you might start questioning why anyone wanted to be king at all. From kissing cod to sniffing shoes, these customs prove that royalty doesn't just have power, they have imagination and apparently very questionable judgment. Which of these traditions made you laugh, cringe, or literally say no way that's real out loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'm reading every single one. If you love this journey into royal absurdity, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got way more history's weirdest secrets, hoaxes, and jaw-dropping moments coming your way. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.